Well, Marwan Bishara is Al Jazeera senior political analyst. He joins us by Skype from Paris. Marwan, is the purpose of these repeated rounds of talks more about maintaining the appearance of a process?
It was for many, many months. But by its nature, Mariam, negotiations are the continuation of war through diplomatic means. By their very nature, they are a continuation of war. So whatever shapes the negotiations are the same factors that shape the war. And whatever influences the war in terms of the humanitarian, the balance of power or the imbalance of power, the geography, and so on and so forth, all of it influences the same thing, diplomacy. So what we see here is the continuation of war by other means. And I think in a sense, the question is, will they reach a deal or not? Because this has been going on for 6 months now, both the war and the negotiations. The question is whether both parties understand, and I'm here talking about both Israel and Hamas, if both parties understand that they cannot achieve in diplomacy what they couldn't achieve in war. In other words, the Israelis are not going to get the captives back free of charge, and Hamas is not going to get Gaza free of Israeli soldiers free of charge. I mean, this is just the hard truth. I'm not being, in any which way soft or emotional about this. I'm not in any which way trying to beautify this. But this is exactly what it is. Everyone else who thinks otherwise is being delusional. War is decided by power. Diplomacy is also decided through power.
How are threats by Israel's adversaries, Iran and Hezbollah, to respond to recent developments affecting these talks?
This is absolutely the right question at the right time, right? So since diplomacy is the continuation of war by other means, we have a whole new factor that entered the war sphere, and that is a major threat by two regional powers, one could say, Iran and Hezbollah, in retaliation to a preemptive, to a provocative act by the Israelis in the violation of Lebanese and Iranian sovereignty. The threat of widening the war that is really bringing in the United States or drawing in the United States is definitely a factor in the negotiations. For the Israelis, it doesn't matter as much. And I'm here as Israelis, I mean the Israeli government, because they are crazy, apocalyptical, dangerous, reckless bunch of fascists and fanatics. For the United States, it's different. The United States, after its own experience in Afghanistan and Iraq, does not want to be drawn to another regional war because of some, reckless politician in Israel decides that he wants a wider war. And hence the United States is pushing for a deal because of the threat of war. And I think that works in favor of a deal more than it doesn't.
But I suppose it's probably likely to come to nothing, as we have seen in previous rounds of talks, if the main obstacle remains to be the Israeli Prime Minister, who is at odds with members of his own negotiating team.
That's true. This has been the case for the past 6 months. Not only that he is at odds with his negotiations team, it's just he thinks a ceasefire is not his interest or to the interest of his government, because they thrive on war. They thrive on war. But let's not forget that they are totally dependent on the United States. Now, the United States, to be clear, is not a mediator only. Its partner, Israel's partner first, mediator second. And this mediator, the United States, has been indispensable for Israel's war. Israel cannot survive in this Middle East. This Israel cannot survive in this Middle East without the United States. There's absolutely no more doubt about this whatsoever, right? So being so dependent on the United States, and although it has not listened to the United States for so long, when it comes to the end of the Biden presidency, when it relates to simply signing the damn deal, that they could basically walk away from it after the first phase, I think there is enough American pressure today, it seems to me, for for Netanyahu to be able to sign off on it. He apparently has gotten guarantees from the United States that he could walk away after the first phase if he's not satisfied. Hamas, of course, got contradictory guarantees that said, we will definitely move on from the first phase to the second phase. That's what a mediator like the United States tends to do. And hence, we could have a ceasefire agreement, but that does not mean we can have long-term peace in Israel-Palestine.
All right, thank you for now. Al Jazeera senior political analyst Marwan Bishara joining us there.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.